The sun had barely risen over the quiet town of Wellingford when the news hit like a thunderclap. Ben Shephard, the local sports hero, television personality, and beloved friend to so many, had collapsed during what was supposed to be a routine medical checkup. Doctors, seasoned and unshakable, were stunned. His health, always presumed robust, was now a fragile mystery that no one could immediately explain. Annie, Ben's wife of 10 years, had been in the kitchen preparing breakfast when the phone rang. The trembling voice on the other end barely managed the words before she dropped the receiver. A cold silence engulfed her kitchen. Pancakes, eggs, and coffee sat untouched. Time itself seemed to freeze as she stumbled toward the hospital, the autumn wind whipping her hair around her tear-streaked face. By the time she arrived, the sterile white walls of the emergency ward felt alien and suffocating. Nurses and doctors moved with hurried precision, their faces masks of professional calm that didn't reach their eyes. One of them, a doctor she barely knew, finally approached, his expression grim. "We're doing everything we can," he said, but Annie saw the hesitation, the unspoken doubt. His condition, it's serious. Annie's knees buckled. She wanted to scream, to shake the walls, to demand that this couldn't be happening. Ben was strong. He was always strong. He was supposed to be untouchable. But life, cruelly indifferent, rarely follows the scripts we hope for. Hours passed. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead. Annie held his hand, cold and lifeless despite the warm pulse that once ran through it. Ben's favorite baseball cap sat on the chair beside her, a silent reminder of all the mornings they had laughed together, all the games he had watched with a childlike joy that never faded even in adulthood. As the night deepened, the doctors worked tirelessly, monitoring machines and scanning results. But the once vibrant man who had lit up every room he entered now lay motionless, a shadow of the energy that had defined him. Annie refused to leave, clutching his hand as though her presence alone could anchor him back to life. "I love you, Ben," she whispered repeatedly, voice breaking, tears spilling freely. "Please, please fight." Her pleas, however, were swallowed by the cold clinical hum of the hospital. The reality of the situation was unbearable. The man she loved, the man who had been the heartbeat of their small world, was slipping away. By early morning, the team of doctors gathered outside the room. Annie, exhausted and pale, braced herself. The words that came next were the ones she had dreaded more than anything. "There's nothing more we can do," the senior doctor said gently. "I'm so sorry." Annie's knees gave way. She sank to the floor, her sobs echoing down the empty corridor. The world had narrowed to the space around her, filled only with grief so raw it almost felt physical. The future she had imagined, quiet mornings, late-night talks, the laughter of children, the comfort of his smile, vanished in a single, cruel instant. Memories flooded her mind. The first time they met, the way his eyes crinkled when he laughed, the sound of his voice calling her name in the early hours of the morning. Every ordinary moment now felt sacred, and every unspoken word a regret. Outside the hospital, news of Ben's passing spread like wildfire. Fans, friends, and strangers alike mourned a man who had touched so many lives. Messages poured in, flowers lined the streets, and vigils were held in his honor. Yet for Annie, the world had narrowed to silence and shadows. She stayed in the hospital room long after the staff had gone, holding the warmth of Ben's memory close. Her grief was a tempest, consuming, yet strangely intimate, a testament to a love so deep it refused to be erased, even in death. The tragedy left a void, not just in her life, but in the hearts of everyone who had known Ben Shephard. A hero, a husband, a friend. Gone too soon. And yet in her sorrow, Annie vowed to carry his spirit forward, to honor the laughter, kindness, and courage that had defined him. She understood, in a way that only those who have lost someone truly dear can, that love doesn't end in death. It transforms, echoing in memories, stories, and the hearts of those left behind. And so, amid the heartbreak, Annie began to write their story. Not as a tale of loss, but as a celebration of the life that had been and the love that would endure forever.